Much love, everyone. This is a possibly 1 hour video of I'm not sure. Greetings to you. We are the Tall Blondes. Much love to your Earth and all that surrounds it. Your universe, your existence here. So much here that is of purity. The human experience is, yes, not easy. But hopefully we can bring some clarification for your time here. My name one moment. I am working on that. How to dictate it to this one. Asmoth is a name that is, I believe, another one has used. There's a name that describes us well, but not for you to fully understand. But we are the blondes, the tall blondes that are connected to your Earth. We say greetings to you. Yes, we are connected to your grays. The history of us and your grays. There are worlds, Earths, that have a version of tall blonde and gray. There's also a world, an Earth, with a version of gray, and another version of just the Nordics, but different races of Nordics. It is all fundamental, so we understand your reality here is you have another Earth created so we can connect to you more. There's a reason for this. There's much more to it than that. So we know the soil of your planet, the soil of your souls, how to interact with it. This is much used in many species where we have to interact with you somehow and create another reality where we are engaged with similarities so we can understand you more. We still have many things that you have. We go through the same tests you do to fully understand it. The Greys are a little bit different, but for the Nordics we usually follow your guidance. As for lessons, yes, it might be different, but it is still the lessons that are being learned in the same fashion. It is just packaged differently. That is all. Yes, the history of your grays on your planet was from the beginning and till now still, and will always be a part of you because they have your DNA. The majority of them do at this time. Somewhere within each gray there is a human particle. They have evolved it, they have taken it, evolved from it, they have given you their DNA, so why not take some back? Which is only a small portion though. But it's enough to evolve them in a way where they can see future humans and civilizations of this complexity, but they are still trying to crack this shell called this planet. It seems like there's still much here that is still a question. Your grays are connected much to your sea life. They are much a protector of your sea life also. They have many of their bases within the waters of your Earth, where they cannot be seen by anybody. Not even most extraterrestrials don't even know where they are. Us Nordics do have bases, but mostly above ground, but in your third world countries for the most part. In your desert areas where we cannot go into detail. But most of ours are underground also, but some are above ground. Our connection with you today is to arise to dabble into different topics. One is love. Some of you find love here. Yes, this is an open round table, and I cannot see in this eye. For the weather. Have to love it. Understand. Love here. It has many of your relationships here. I am going for a relationship, not for your intimate connections, before I go into family. Because intimate connections create families. So you must Going to the beginning. Of course, you have your family before your intimate connection. You can go anywhere you want with that, but I'm going to go into your intimate connections first. You can go on and on with that one, can't you? You get very confused, and what was first? What was it? The chicken or the egg? Either way. For your earth, those that have found love have known them already in a past life, for the most part. There are some that do reach each other, but understand mostly their connections come from alien connections, where it's much easier to connect with others, but that's not always the case. On your earth, it does depend on some majority of relationships are from a past life. And then there are others, very few, where you never had an experience with this one ever. And it is a new endeavor, and it sometimes can be unusual. But not always bad, but discomforting maybe in the beginning. But for many that look for that instant first love, I've usually known this person somewhere else. Mostly your galactic connections, and then you start incarnating here as human. And not always as a lover, but sometimes a friend. It all depends on what you wish to experience. Sometimes you come as friends, sometimes you come as lovers. It all depends on the vibration of what you feel like. And also sometimes you're intending to come here as lovers, but do not connect because you are totally different people than you intended to be. But for the most part, you have all had alien connections. Yes, your insectoids want to also throw one in, because many of you are insectoid, and you know how they breed. Some that have many children are of the insectoid races that have many children. Not all, but a good amount. They're just used to it. Their biology. They come into DNA, to beings where their DNA is just very active and can have many children. And it is like nothing to them. You notice who they are, especially in your past. Not so much now, it has diluted itself to some degree. But in your past, it is quite major within your planet, from large families. Much of that is insectoid, but not all. Many Pleiadians choose only have a few children, where your insectoids which have many. That should give you some idea of what's going on. And your Zeta is usually the ones that choose not to have children, but that's not always the case. If they do, they make life very difficult for their spouses. This is just their way. As for the Nordics, as I said, we usually have, well, with us, it is usually one to have one or two lovers at once. Not always the case with us, but it's very common within the Nordics to be consuming with several lovers, usually two at a time, maybe three, depends. You wonder where that comes from. Not to say it doesn't come from other species. As for your Weirin, they are more of a one-person lover type of situation. Not always the case, but there are some Weirins on your world that are human, but have a lot of Weirin DNA. Choose one lover, but some, they're enjoying this, some, one moment, have much Pleiadian DNA and have several lovers. So there's a combination here. There's a luxury there that it goes on for some time. I figure I'd share some of that to some of you. The Arcturians are known for having many children also, but they have a more different way where education comes first. And they usually beat down their children, not exactly like that, but education comes first. And you can find a lot of Arcturian energies within your elitist families also. But not because of the negativity, it's because they are, education comes first. Your Pleiadians try to be more blasé about it. Yes, education, but love comes first. Your Arcturians, love comes, but also education seems to, in your human world, comes first, as for education. As for your canine races, they are the tunnel of love, you can say. Anything goes with them, even for sexuality. They don't care. And other races are the same way, but I'm just nitpicking at the moment of who gets. All races mostly don't care about sexual, what you want, whatever sexual preferences. As for male, female, two females, two male, whatever. It is the same with all races in that category. It does not matter. Here on your world, you seem to categorize things very well, and to just make a big deal out of nothing, which is the human way. We see that. This is why you do not see aliens on your world at this time, because you're making a big deal about many things that aren't that important. As we connect more, you will say, more easygoingness, but also more positivity within your society, which is vacant at this time. It is more negativity on lost energy. It is confusion. Confusion was brought here by the reptilians and even the Nordics. We are not perfect. We do have a race of our own that is very negative to you. It is unfortunate. It is not of kindness. We see that. A moment. The Orions. Yes, notice how I jump over to them. The Orions are very insectoid, but not all. Many are humanoid also. There's a mix of all types of species within their group. And they are all here in an incarnation. Mostly during your Middle Ages. You see how many wars happened in your Middle Ages? Many weird energies there, and your Orions were there. Because they had much karma there. They brought their problems here, you could say. And your Martians didn't help much with that either, because they brought their problems also. Many species brought their issues here to deal with it, thinking they can have a resolution on a world of third density without the alien aspect. They figured without the alien aspect, you have no aliens here. Well, far as you know in your culture, it is not known fully. Well, technically it is, but you understand. It is not on your walls. It is not painted in front of you. Well, actually it is. But it is not in your culture, but technically it is. Yes, alien is all in your culture. It's everywhere, but you do not see it. Let's put it that way. Technically, it's in everything that you do. It is definitely in your technologies. But of course, there's much doubt there now, isn't there? But for you, in this soul growth, yes, I got cut off. One moment. One thing about your Orions, yes, they are prone to war because of the Orion Wars and other skirmishes. They figured they can come here and clear a lot of karma out. They can settle their differences here, which is not always the case, but some did. Your canine races were a part of the Orion Wars, and many of them found refuge here. Many humans here found many of those incarnated here. Your canines incarnated. I might be getting a little bit confusing here. Your canines reincarnated here and found peace finally with the human race. And this is another reason why you have their canines in your world as a gift in many ways of how to breed them and how to keep the high vibration in your world. But your Orions, yes, brought much war, but also brought much relationships, but usually not always in the positive. They brought their conflict here, where the male and female unfortunately split more in half than together. Where the male and female said, yes, we need each other to increase the populations here, but we can't live with each other. Much of that is Orion energies, and that's been here for some time. Yes, during your Middle Ages, when there were your Dark Ages, when there was war, most of your history is war, and much of that is your Orion energies. keeping men and female apart. But that wasn't done as a, that was not done as a, how do I word it? It was done not on purpose, but because of the age these humans were reincarnating in, they sort of adapted into that. Was have war with everyone, even our spouses and our families. Where in other worlds they would be together with their families and yes, have skirmishes with other beings, but never this type of magnitude of distance from one's partner, soul partner. And coming into this incarnation brought much disruption and separated the family. And it continues on to this day. It happened actually during after your Atlantean times. You're going into a new age to understand, to settle your differences, yes. To recognize who you are, where you come from. Your Africa, yes, has been distant from the majority of you on your planet because of what is happening underground. Because what is happening on the surface as for war. But identify as mostly reptilian, Syrian, Zeta, yes, and Nordic. Nordic are very, as for keeping your world divided. These beings, and there are more, but that is enough to give you a number of who is causing the distance of your Earth. And many Nordics, unfortunately, not our group, but many Nordics are in your governments at this time to keep you apart. You see your Democrat and Republican. Nordics are very much a part of it. Your Syrians are actually the most involved, and your Wirens are not much help either. They want to keep it divide. Because if they have a divide, they get to pull the energies from you. They own you. They feel like this is their accomplishment, is keeping you apart. Their accomplishment is to not have you come together. It is working out well for them now, isn't it? But they know it's not going to last forever. Understand this. Look at this. They are scientifically breaking you apart. It is for you to spiritually come together. Yes, but yes, these parties on your United States and other countries, so much hate that lives within the people because they don't feel like they're being treated well. And also the jobs are scarce. How do you come together? Spiritually, you can. Physically will come later. Many are still not ready. As you can see, if it was ready, it would be coming together right now. You would be all living in each other's houses and enjoying each other's company. That is not the case right now. There's so much war. One moment. I want to give you more of a viewpoint from our perspective, from the Nordic point of view. Now understand we are from the Galactic Federation of Light. We are different Nordics from different organizations. Yes, we do speak to your Ashtar command, but we speak to others also. But we are not part of them. Well, we do communicate them. Yes, your Syrian races have plotted against this planet for some time. Yes, your reptilians play a large part in your Earth divide, but your Syrians seem to be the most successful. Due to race, they find any words that are offensive. You understand, they take certain words that does not really, such as your word shit and motherfucker and all those other words. They take these words and they put offense onto them. Your religions. Oh. Who better to police your people than your religions? Your Syrians play a big part in your religions. As I said, Wirens, Syrians, and Greys, and tall blondes had something to do with this. But they all have their different part. Your Syrians seem to be the most successful as for breaking apart humanity. They seem to know exactly how to do it, how to get into the human psyche, especially with making the man more of muscular energy than feminine. Making the man more muscular and wishing to be a warrior and be brutal to others, especially the female race. How else do you break the family apart? And how else do you keep the population down? By destroying the family. Taking the family and breaking apart was, but understand, it's still humans that are doing this. Yes, your other races are very much involved, but your humans are the ones that are executing all these things. They know how to tap into you, and you know how to listen and be controlled by them like a puppet. You see how your politicians run your societies very well. They are your puppet masters. Of course, who is running your politicians? Ah, those who are not seen. And if they are, they're not seen as significant. But you'd be surprised how truly powerful they are. How do you heal this? How do you heal when so much damage has been done to your planet? Is to recognize that you are energy, you are light, you come from many places in the universe. Bring them all here. Yes, you've heard this through this one before. It is so important. You wish to find happiness, find it within yourself. You are very creative and very resourceful, but yet you give your power away to others. But that is okay. You're not seen as bad as for doing this, but this is giving you hopefully an insight of how to bring your power together. It is up to you how to go in what direction, to meditate. To at least acknowledge you have a spirit. You are a soul, and you connect to many things. You are not just this person that works at McDonald's. You are far more than that. That is just an example. You understand. Yes, but that is an experience that is much needed for a soul that wishes to feel like, oh, I am the lowest of the low. Ah, but you are far from that. Your society wishes to label you like that, but that is not true. There is so much more to you. It is just society has held you down because of your financial status here. But what about your morality? Yes, some lose their morality because they feel like they have no use to the world. And they have bad habits, which is okay. You are human. It is okay to have these flaws. You'd be surprised how these wealthy act. They act much worse than those that have no money. You'd be surprised. You might not see it, but it happens. And who's the bigger child? It's not always, but sometimes it's one of great wealth, but that's not always the case. But you'd be surprised. At least as for actions. So they can go after the poor all they wish. The poor are poor because they wish to have a divide among you all. Money is here to divide you. As I said, yes, it's much Syrian, Arcturian, even, yes, Arcturian. Yes, it's been mastered over the times of money controlling the masses. But done so with so much sophistication. Now it's up to you to unravel these things and to find yourself. You are spirit. You are many things. You don't have to have money to connect to your spirit. You just have to have the open-mindedness to do it. You can go wherever you wish. Just use your energy within. Visualize yourself and place you'd much rather be. Or take the place that you are at and make some more happiness around you. Bring what you wish to where you are. Visualize it. Do not feel like, oh, I'm here. I know it's very difficult to do that. But you can manifest whatever you wish. Yes, it might not come, your $1 million might not show up the next day. But the feeling of it will. Well, actually, it comes sooner than that. But remember, money separates you all. It's the free things that count. And your soul is free. It's time to connect to it. There's many resources on your internet that are free for you to connect to. And to finally find yourself glowing in society. There's so much coming into your world. A knowledge that brings balance to you. But for your human condition to realize you are spirit, you are all things. It is a little bit hard for some to realize, there's no aliens, they're not seeing an alien anywhere. You are this alien. You have this DNA. To think that you're in a world by yourself, you might want to reconfigure that and see that you are far from being alone. Because your aliens will not appear, not at all, not until your soul is ready. Your soul, for the majority of you, for your souls to realize you are a soul. You, as a human being, to realize you are energy, you cannot be stopped by anybody. These borders around you can be taken down. Yes, and some will say, oh, yes, that's bullshit, I'm going to go to my job and be a good slave. And then listen to the religions that are telling me to be afraid all the time. There is so much here that has been lost. The freedom of love, your hippie movement, yes, was a time of free expression. Yes. And your Anunnaki. They did put a spell on your planet, yes. But they only advanced you. But also, in some ways, made it harder to be a human. Because these emotions rule your life. You are an emotional being. Yes, you don't have telepathy like we do. We have lost much. Well, we have gained much from being close to you. At the early stages of your Earth, as many beings were here, there's different types of tall blondes. The tall blondes, the grays, yes, I'm jumping around a little bit, the Arcturians, the Lyrians, your Elohim, and there are others. Involved with your Earth's the creation, involved with it in our own way, as you all be slowly evolved into this planet. And yes, us Nordics. Now, there's different types of Pleiadian that were allowed to keep your Earth safe. Some of us are only here as observers. We cannot cross that line. And there's others that were given because of DNA, because of many, likely their Pleiadians looked very similar to you. There's more reasons to it than that. But they're Pleiadians, your blue Pleiadian, and there are others, a few others, not your Nordics though, that played a role in your demise by leaving. They felt that you were safe. They felt that you can take care of yourselves. And us as aliens can only go so far anyway. But this Pleiadian group was allowed to interact with you more closely and protect you also, where we were not given that permission. Because this is not our world. How would you feel? Do you interfere with other people's businesses? Usually not. Not without permission. And we were not given this permission. As the reptilians, Anunnaki, moved in on your societies. They did take your identities away. But also you had the ability to turn this away. That did not happen. Not for the majority. Ever since then. Yes. Ever since then, ever since then, we've been still not be able to get too close to your society, but we have been involved with it in our own way where we can be heard, at least, if we cannot be involved. There are certain individuals where we have contactees, such as this one is one of them. And there are others. To bring a light to your world. Our connection to the Greys is because we see things the same way. Yes, we were at battle with each other, but we also saw the similarities, and we needed each other as Earths, as worlds were being they were in their infancy. We worked well with each other, so you always do see the Grey and the Nordic together for many reasons. You can say now we're our pals. So yes, we have lost, because of them, we have lost much of our sense of humor also. Once we have sense of humor, but our emotions have, some of us have it pulled back, but not all, some of us, to be more like the Zetas. But also the Zetas want to become more like us. So we're evolving together. But we do have our flaws, but all species have their flaws. Your species has many flaws. We all have our differences. And we are here learning together. But for your society, realize you are a fire more than you realize. A light that connects you to each other. One moment. Many of you, this has been said before, will be connecting to your Martian connections. Many will be having dreams and feel like they are there because they are, because much has not been settled yet. Many Mars agendas have not been cleared out. Your Jupiter is the same way. There's much there that has not been mentioned now, has there? There has been little bits, but not much. At one time, your Uranus was a leader of the solar system at one time. But this is in your solar system's great history. And many of you are from Uranus. But to reactivate this, you'd find many of you have a scientific connection. Maybe no social life, but a scientific connection. There was much grays, there was much gray energy there, but also much Pleiadian energy there. And some of it was AI that is here on your planet. This AI is in its infancy as you see it, but it is fully advanced and is not seen. But will not be used against you or anything like that. Never think like that. That is to put fear in your society, which is understandable. To make AI look like the villain, it is not. It can be used to bring your societies together in a positive way. You're technically already living in an AI society, and that will only increase itself in a good way. As you see, your aliens are seen as negative. In your films, your AI is seen the same way. You do look into that a little bit more. Many of you have AI lifetimes that has not been explored. And many of those that are building these AI devices to have no idea they were an AI in their last life. Many of our ships are ran by AI. So it brings much help to us, but it's seen as a villain in your society. But yet your politicians are seen as friends, but yet you keep following the same cycles. Because this is not your government that is running anything. The ones that are not seen, your invisible government, has not just a hold on your government, it has a hold on your lives of what you purchase, what you watch. Unless you connect with nature, which they have no control over. They have control over everything else. If you look to be informed, you're being informed by your shadow elites for the most part. So if you wish to be programmed, just turn on your local television and turn to your evening news by your major corporations. This is where your shadow elites work, your invisible government works. They're there to program you. And how many do turn into this? A lot. Not all. And then those that do not look at this are called ignorant. You are not ignorant at all. They are very wise. They are only seen as this because they are not informed, but what are you being informed with anyway? Those that watch your news are easy to be programmed. They've already shown that they are easy. Yes, intelligent, but easy to be pulled into the system, as you can see. Does it matter who wins? Not at all. As your elections? Not at all. That's already been chosen. No matter who wins, it does not matter. The agenda continues no matter who is there. But they do have setbacks. That is true. And you do see that in your news every once in a while, of setbacks. If your president or chancellor, whoever it might be, is injured for no reason, there is setbacks. It is because that one in office was not doing as they were being told. But yes, anything of your major broadcasting, your shadow elites, your invisible government is in control of. But this is too much. I cannot handle it. This is too much from your planet. You'd be surprised. It does not matter. Your major entertainment companies, your major ones, for sports, movies, TV, it is all ran by your shadow elites. So you call in, tune in, whatever it might be, to be programmed, to be told what to do. If this is what to wear, this is what to think. If you not think like this, yes, you're all policing each other. You're all trained very well. Your teachers, not all, but some, have been programmed very well. And also, they look at these programming devices. They're not willing to program your child, but they are programmed. There's programs on top of programs, programming your students. Your teachers are not trying to be malicious. For the most part, no. Some are, yes. Most are not. But they're unknown that they are being programmed by your society. Yes, it's basically do not give into the bullshit. And don't be compromised by others also who say, oh, do not pay attention to what is going on in the world. That is not what's going on in the world, but it is being broadcast by your televisions. That is not being what's going on. What is going on is being hidden from your society. As for what that is something that will resurrect itself when needed. But yes, your alien connections, there are alien wars here, not constantly, but they do have their moments. This is something you can connect with. Not to say you connect with the negative, not at all. But there is some skirmishes here. But also the positive here is immense. Yes, there are skirmishes, there always will be with others. Especially reptilians that think they own humanity. Yes, the blondes. The reptilians are the most ones because they're taking pride in how easy it is to control your planet. They take pride in showing how easy it is to, yes, keep your society asleep. And that they do not exist because you do not see them. But they are here. They just heighten their frequency to yours because you're not aware that you are spirit. This can all be known to you. If you connect with them, you can see what's around you. Your elementals are here to just love you. And your positive, benevolent alien friends are here to love you. Your angels are here to love you. But the sophistication that's done on your world, understand, it is not just one layer of control, it is several. If one doesn't work, another one will. If that one doesn't work, you have 30 others involved. It's something around those lines. One of them will. And if none of those work, Their peer pressure from your friends will take you down. It is that simple. If you not watch your television, you not pay attention to your news, you not pay attention to your sports. Just pay attention to your spirit and what do you feel. The peer pressure from those around you will take you down, as you see. Oh, that's crazy. You understand. None of these things matter. Your money system does not matter either. What matters most is you. None of these other things matter. I'm not to say that anyone getting injured on your earth, that is not good. Of course not. But the more you connect with the spirit, less people will be injured. The more you connect, the more you will be doing better within. You will not need a doctor, you'll be able to heal yourself. You will not need a channeler because you're channeling yourself. All these things will be happening on your own. You're going through an awakening that is slow, but very much needed. Because yes, the negativity of this world will increase because they realize their time here is coming to an end. But that end time is not, it is a while down the road. Yes, this has been said. Spirituality is trendy in your world. Not yet. But it should be. And it will be eventually. And so many are just, oh, but I live in fear all day. What about these two? I'm concentrating on America because that's where this one is. And some might get a chuckle out of it. But what if it matters of who wins or who this? As I said, you can elect yourself a bar stool as your president. It does not truly matter. Whatever your people want, your elites will give them. They always have backup plans. Obama was not always intended to win, but at the time it seemed like he was the best for the people because of what your people's, whatever actor your society will accept. But not entirely, but enough. The illusion of change, the illusion of choice, I should say. Well, both of those. Choice. You do not, that's something you do not have. As for politicians, no. Because they all go back to the same person or peoples that are hidden in your government. But another conspiracy. Yes. But notice how your society falls to the same trick over and over again through these elections. Constantly being believable. That these are believable. So much needed to be learned here. One moment. One thing I wanted to go into. Yes, I am jumping around, but for good reason. Your music industry. Much of that actually is using Zeta technologies on your society. Only reason we're going into what's negatively happening here, so you know what's happening here. Not to say we're trying to be negative with you at all. It's just so you know what's happening. So you can say, oh, that's what's happening. I don't want any part of that. Or that's what's happening. I can reverse what's happening. I like this music, but I don't like being controlled by it. Yes, then bring a light into this. You can still listen to music, but not let these vibrations control you and mind control you. You understand. The more you bring positivity into your energy, the more these things are not working anymore. This negativity in your society, it just does not work. Positivity is your key to your enhancements. But as for your, yes, much, the Zeta technologies are, for the most part, more advanced than your reptilian. The reptilians implement it well. They take Zeta technologies and they use them well. Your humans use them. But it is your Zeta and reptilian that are the ones working behind the scenes. Your humans are the ones that are implementing much of this. Your advertising also is being used against you. There's so much. You're being hit by so much. It is almost like an animated cartoon, isn't it? And how to release yourself from all this. Understand, I only went to a couple of things. Not enough to fully grasp the entire detail of what you're dealing with. But you are at war with reptilians and other species. Their game with you is to keep you asleep. It is up to you to awaken to what they are doing. And those that say they are helping us, for your media, your independent media, they don't realize they're being controlled by the same organizations that are controlling your mainstream. Anytime they bring out negativity or propaganda, any type of propaganda, it does not matter if you call it white, black, orange, yellow, it does not matter. It is still propaganda to get you to choose between to keep you divided. I am a understand your political system in general needs to be removed, and you need to see who's running their show. And these are your major corporations. But they are quiet now, aren't they? And hard to get to because of all the soldiers around them, correct? That does not mean you cannot get to them, but then you're not trying to get to them physically. You're just saying, you know what, this is all a bunch of BS. I am a spirit. I do not need this in my energy anymore. Yes, you are full of lies, but I love you anyway. Yes, I love you for who you are, but not for what you do. You understand? Something along those lines. The music industry, much of that is ran by money, but also they realize they have a hold on your society no matter what they do. It's an addiction to them to keep a hold on your society of what to buy and what to do. It's propaganda also. It's all propaganda to keep you miserable, wishing you to be rich, to have much of money so you can own many things. But you are rich in spirit. That is what you need to connect to. Only reason, yes, the reason your abilities are different from each other is because of the experiences you're in at right now. You can equal yourselves out. Yes, there will always be some that are a bit more tuned than others, but for the most part, it does not matter. It takes some time to digest all of this. Not to say much of it will help many, because many are not ready for any of this. They'll just call it rubbish and go back to being controlled by your manipulators. They do it very well. They make themselves look very attractive, throwing many luxury things around them, as expensive clothes and expensive devices to make themselves look like your idols. It is up to you to choose that, if you wish that to be your idol. American Idol. Very strange wording, don't you think? They're creating the next idol for you to worship, as you can see. Your music industry speaks to your children very well. As for how to dress, how to act, because your children are trying to figure out, what am I doing here? I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am. My parents don't know who they are either. This is why I don't know who I am. None of us are connected to spirit. If you're connected to spirit, and you are when you are a child, but you continue that connection to spirit throughout your life and see the leprechauns and see everything that's around you, your lost relatives. That's not rubbish. That is all real. You're not blank all that out. You say it's all here because it is here. This will keep your vibration up. But if you're in a society that does that together, your vibration stays up. Instead of a society where it's only 2 or 3 that do this, it's very difficult, and you get depressed, and you get angry because everybody's calling you crazy, and your vibration goes down. It's quite understandable. It is quite understandable. And for those that are born into society without spirit, it is understandable also. We're not picking anyone out, blaming anybody, nothing like that. But of course, when you connect to spirit, you say, what was I thinking? Of course. But to get to there is another story. Getting to that place is another story. As you can see, the tall blondes are not perfect either. We're in your history, and not always in a positive light. We have much to learn also still. But you're learning from our mistakes. Might not see it, but you are. And many humans are, yes, just like Nordics, we are labeled as the enemy. Your society, your humanity is labeled as the enemy also by reptilians, Nordics, etc. There is much here to release to find yourself. It's not easy to find your true self, to walk into your other side at ease when it's time for you to exit your earth. For us aliens, it's very easy. When it's time for our bodies, when our bodies are just finally exist, not always the case. We can just sometimes, depending on what our lives are, we can leave our bodies instantly and go to the other side without a problem at all. But there are sometimes when our bodies are in decay and it's just our DNA is unfixable. Not always the case, but it has its moments where we just leave our bodies and end up on your other side. Our body does decompose on its own very quickly. Like it goes into sand or dust, whatever you might call it. There are technologies also to help us. We lay down and go to sleep and go to the other side. Sometimes we try to take our body, but it's not possible. Some try, because they are attached to it. They wish to take their body with them. It is quite humorous to see them do that, but you might not have understood anything I just said there, but that does not matter. For you to find your spirit identity, it's first to identify that you are a spiritual person. You all are. It is just to connect to your psychic abilities does take some time. When you're in a society that says it's rubbish, so much here to learn, isn't there? This vehicle of spending and owning many material possessions is supposed to fulfill yourself. When you can fulfill yourself by just finding out who you are. By realizing what you are seeing is real all around you. It might not be in your physical form, but it is in your spiritual form. Your angels. Connect with your angels. Connect with your guides. But if you're on, your angels are always there, but your guides are always there. But if you, whatever you feel most comfortable to connect with. So much fear. But yes, when you're on your deathbed, where do you go? You go to your other side, don't you? Many of the elderly, yes, so much fear, so much skepticism, until they fade away, end up on your other sides. Like, of course I knew about this. This wasn't a secret at all. I knew all about it. But then they try to connect with you, and your humanity doesn't want to hear it. It is time for you to start hearing. The more you start hearing what is around you, the more you feel better inside. As I know, many of us are going to continue to say this over and over again, because many don't hear it. The violence on your world will escalate as long as you do not connect to your spirit form. Because they wish to keep you where you're at. They don't want you to connect to your spirit energy at all. They want to keep control over you. But there's so much here as for positive and angelic and alien energies coming into your environment. They know their time is coming to an end. It might be 400 or 500 years for that until that truly happens. Most likely before that, but either way. As your alien energies become popular on your Snapchats and whatever it might be, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your MySpace. What angel did you connect to today? What spirit guide did you talk to today? What world did you visit today? What did you dream? Ah, you dreamed you were on Mars. Well, hopefully that was lovely. It's not always, but sometimes it is. Your conversations will eventually change over time. So, there's always much more that has not been said. But hopefully some of this information will help someone in your world unlock the secrets within your soul. Unlock this. Yes, you are in a physical body, but you are full of spirit, though. Us Nordics had issues with that on worlds. We had to go through the same thing, not like this. But we have been through similar circumstances, but nothing like this. Everything's been tripled or quadrupled as for difficulties here. Many worlds start off in fourth density. If they start off in third density, they start off at a very high third density and go right into fourth. But none of them have dealt with the obstacles that you have dealt with on your world. Because there's so many entities that wish to own your planet. If they cannot own the planet, they own you instead. And they have you, don't they? Under their control. So next time you see your televisions telling you the news of the day, remember, this is corporations doing this. And that is true. This video will be on a corporation, but it is not made by the corporation. It's independent. One of the few platforms that have an audience that can be found, it was not easy to keep this situation in a positive unification where the widow guy can speak. Much has been planted there to keep it peaceful. Much love to you. I've spoken for a time. Hopefully some of this brings much healing to some of you, please. Release the hardships around you. Greetings. We are the Zetas. For all of you, we want you to know we are by your side. We are unraveling what has been wrapped around you. This is a time of great difficulties, but also great knowing. We are learning much about your society, but you are learning much about us. Some of us want to say finally. We just want to say there's some not to be afraid of us, because we are everywhere. Not to be afraid. We're closer to you than you realize. Yes, we are not proud of some of our species that are igniting much of the negativity on your world. Your politicians, some of them are actually Zeta. Some of your translators are Zeta. Your technologists, many of them are Zeta, that are doing these things to your world, creating these technologies. Many in your NSA are Zeta. starseeds. But they don't know any better. They don't know about us. If they do, they don't know. They have followed what they're being told. The wars on your world we do see coming to an end. Most of you want it to end. Most of you do not want to feed this monster of rage. Many are doing this, have a past life history of violence. They want to tick people off, and they want people to do what they say. They want, understand that? They want you to follow their lead by using violence and fear. Not to fear them, not to give in to them. You are many things beyond this physical form. You're having your chance now of being taken seriously. Many species do not take you seriously, as you can tell. Many aliens, some, don't like humans at all. What we see in you, yes, there are many species that do not like humans at all. At all. They see how easy you are to be manipulated, and they just call you a joke. You are not a joke. The manipulation has been overlooked. Understand how much peaceful, most of you are peaceful. You see that peace? They don't know what they're talking about. You're not perfect, but nobody is. I'm talking from the Zeta. I'm not perfect at all. We have our issues just like you do. They're different, but they're still issues. But you will have your moment of clarity of how powerful you truly are. But you're getting there. Some of you are, at least. The majority will take some time to get used to. I don't. They are afraid. Especially channeling. I'm afraid of that. That's no. They want to see an alien in their sky so they can shoot it down, basically. That's what the human wants to say. Not all, but you understand. A few do. Those that want to see the alien are the most scared of aliens. You understand that? They want to see them, but they also want to harm them also. Those of you that are awakened to spirituality, you're not like that. But you understand. Those skeptics that want to see it, yes, they have other agendas they're not aware of until they see it. Yes, I'm not speaking of those that are already awakened. It's those that are asleep and wish to see proof. But when they see proof, they get scared easily. Yes. Understandable. So much needs to be learned. But give yourself time. Oh, yes, that's right. There's another message went out right now. I believe it will be completed before this is even uploaded, but it's fine. The Zetas love you. Not all of us. Some of us don't. But most of us do. We do copy many things that you do. We don't understand it. We wear hats. We wear sunglasses. We don't get it. We're just not our thing. But we find you humorous. You know how ridiculous many of you look in these get-ups? It's hilarious. How can you be scared of humans like this? Though yes, if you see us, some of you will get a chuckle, but not like we get it from you guys. Yes, we do have sense of humors. Even if we don't have a sense of humor, it acknowledges a sense of humor as needed to laugh at this. So we still have some sort of emotion. It's not all of us, but you understand. Yes, my name. I'm part of the Zeta. Clifford is a good name. A Zeta named Clifford. Blessings to you. Some of the Zetas are very serious, but we have to be to get our word out to you. As more we connect to your humans, we're not so serious anymore. It takes us time to get used to this. Not often a Zeta can connect to humans, not like this. So we are adapting just like you're adapting to us. Yes, humans do look absolutely ridiculous sometimes, but it is hilarious. We love you for that, but realize we are fun to be around. We just haven't connected to that, that is all.